All right, welcome back to the channel. So Gervonta Davis responds to the performance of Shakur Stevenson and I think Chris Colbert this weekend, two extremely exciting 130-pound fighters, and tells them, I'm different. Shows a little picture of a gorilla, but then also before these fights took place, said that he was the guy that had the knockout of the year, talked about his fight with Leo Santa Cruz. And despite how good the rest of these guys are looking at 130, Gervonta Davis really is the man between 130 and 135. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So Gervonta Tank Davis, gets the Twitter fingers, but I don't mind. Gives us something to talk about. Love the boxing conversation, especially when you get an opportunity. And I will take any excuse to talk about great fighters like Gervonta Davis, Chris Colbert. People have been telling me it's Chris Colbert, not Chris Colbert. Hey, the name looks French to me. Anyway, sorry, Chris Colbert, prime time, Lil B-Hop. He and Shakur Stevenson looked absolutely fantastic on the two cards that they headlined. One was on ESPN. The other one's on Showtime. Terrific night of fights. Shakur Stevenson got a little bit of a backlash from fans because he didn't get the knockout that Gervonta Tank Davis got or that Chris Colbert got. But his performance, I thought, was absolutely excellent. Very fast hands, very fundamentally sound dude. Goes up, attacks the body very well. Excellent footwork. Look tremendous, man. Really doesn't make a lot of mistakes. So if you look at all four areas of the scoring criteria, boxing, effective aggression, clean, effective punching, defense, and ring generalship, I think that Shakur Stevenson has it all. Man, he has a lot of everything, right? Terrific fighter. Same thing goes for Chris Colbert. Colbert, prime time is a little bit more artistic, a little bit more freelancing, free-willed, man, but both these guys look terrific. But the man at 130 pounds, oh, by the way, also, Ryan Garcia. That's another guy who's at that 130, 135-pound range that is a really exciting fighter in that young, below the age of 24, below the age of 25 group. Ryan Garcia is also somebody that I do believe he's going to be fighting Luke Campbell. He was supposed to fight in December, but maybe it's going to be in February now because somebody got, the COVID thing or whatever might have pushed that back. That's somebody that's talking a lot about fighting Gervonta Davis. And actually, Ryan Garcia, of everybody that we're mentioning, whether it's Shakur Stevenson, Chris Colbert, or, guys like Teofimo Lopez, I really do think that Ryan Garcia probably has the best opportunity to get the Gervonta Tank Davis fight. But that's kind of a subject matter for another video. But Ryan Garcia is up next, early next year. So all these guys who are a little bit younger than Tank are coming in behind Tank and making that that division very solid division. But I have to agree with Gervonta Davis when Gervonta Davis says that he's a bit of a different animal than the other guys at 130. Now, at this point in time, the reason he might be a different animal is primarily because of experience. If you look at, the way that Gervonta Davis, if you look at the resume of Gervonta Davis, it's very underrated, man. And the type of performances he's been putting on, I think have been very underrated, man. His skill set is one of the best. How this guy is not on a pound for pound top 10 pound for pound list is just, if I didn't know who the people were that were getting votes on it, I would be completely surprised. But since I do know the people that are getting the votes on it, and I have seen how they voted up for years and years, it's no surprise at all that guys like Gervonta Davis aren't on there. Jermell Charlo isn't on there. Guys like Chris Colbert will probably never get on there. Shakur Stevenson's going to get on there, though. In fact, I do believe that Kevin Iole gave a vote for Shakur Stevenson. What a surprise. that, what a surprise that he'll be able to find votes before somebody like Jermell Charlo. But, political affiliations aside, Shakur Stevenson is a very, very, very solid fighter. And despite the fact that he is taking a little bit of heat because he didn't get rid of the guy that he was fighting in his last fight. But, Shakur has responded in the media to, you can see that he's taking a little bit of heat, or he's taking it personally, because he's saying, hey, I didn't have, as long a training camp as I've wanted to have. The other guy was trying to survive. Look, man, people, sometimes you just don't get the knockout. It's not that big a deal. I did a video about saying that Chris Colbert had outshined Shakur Stevenson, but really and truly, it's just, he made it look a little bit better, a little bit more spectacular last night than Shakur Stevenson had. But, that probably wasn't like that the last fight, right? And it may not be that the next fight. It just so happened to be that it was that night that Chris Colbert really got the job done in spectacular fashion. And Shakur Stevenson looked absolutely fantastic, but it was a little bit more of a workman-like effort than the one that Chris Colbert put on. But at the end of the day, I just think, Gervonta Davis is right, but he's a higher level fighter right now than any of those guys down there, because of the level of experience that he's had in the ring, the fights with Pedraza, even the fights that people might not have given him a lot of credit for, like Fonseca, Jesus Cuellar, definitely the fight with Yuriokas Gamboa, and this fight with Leo Santa Cruz. I mean, Leo Santa Cruz is a four division champion. That's a lot on his resume, man. So even though I really like this young group of young men coming up behind him or coming up with him, man, I do think that he is just a little bit ahead. But now that does not absolve, in my opinion, it does not absolve him of him being Gervonta Davis of the responsibility of fighting these other guys. And that's the sad thing of seeing all of these really good American fighters. Like, you have a guy from Baltimore in Gervonta Tank Davis. You have a guy from New York in Chris Colbert. You have a guy from New Jersey in Shakur Stevenson. And these are Ryan Garcia. I do believe Ryan Garcia is from California. You put Ryan Garcia, he's from California. You have Teofimo Lopez, he's from New York. I mean, this really is, a pretty much an amateur, guys that came up in the amateurs together in the United States amateur scene. And it's just such a shame that it is going to be very hard to see all of these guys fighting one another, because, it's going to be the one guy that breaks out first is usually the one that gets the most credit. So right now you have Gervonta Davis, who really got out ahead, and he is ahead in, in the his pay-per-views and in his, being able to sell out arenas and stuff. You have Ryan Garcia, who has natural attributes that is going to help him along that way to catch up a little faster in that regard, but he's not there as far as, like the fighting experience goes. But the greatest shame of it all is that more than likely we're just going to be talking about what it would be to see these guys fight. Definitely when you're talking about like prime time fighting Gervonta Tank Davis, like fights like that, it's like, man, I almost know in 10 years we're going to be like, oh man, well, how great it would have been if these guys would have been able to fight, but it never happened. That type of stuff going on. But anyway, that's my take on the scenario. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.